Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to today's Quran study. So we'll be reading from Surah 13, verse 4, God willing. Let's all seek refuge in God from Satan and reject it. Solid proofs for people who understand. So we can see part of the creation, plants as well, different plants as well, different trees, dioecious and non-dioecious, There's all these wonderful benefits. It's it, it's a way to remember and strengthen our belief and appreciation of God. Also, they steadfastly perseveres through all types of difficulties. This is maybe a similar or analogous in a way here, but nonetheless, we as we just discussed, the fruits and the plants and everything are um, wonderful proofs for us to think about. Belief in the hereafter required for salvation. If you ever wonder, the real wonder is their saying, after we turn into dust, do we get recreated anew? These are the ones who have disbelieved in their Lord. These are the ones who have incurred shackles around their necks. These are the ones who have incurred hell wherein they abide forever. They challenge you to bring doom upon them rather than turning righteous. Sufficient precedents have been set for them in the past. Indeed, your Lord is full of forgiveness towards the people, in spite of their transgressions, and your Lord is also strict in enforcing retribution. So the wonder, if like the verse is, it's interesting. It's saying if we ever wonder about these like despite all the wonders we may have about why people could be the way they are, why they're disbelieving or worshiping idols. The real wonder is they're saying after we turn into dust do we get recreated anew, meaning I guess in a sense, like how could they be so foolish and doubtful? That's the real wonder on their part. How could they disbelieve in the Most High, the Most Great? Disbelieve in their own creation. So this is, um, this is something. Of course, they wonder about. Uh, as it says, the real wonder is they're saying, but it's this they're saying, you know, that reflects their disbelief in this sense. They so they've disbelieved in their Lord. They don't believe in resurrection, and consequently, we can see this as a reflection in their actions and other things. And also the next verse, instead of turning righteous, which is um, the sensible and logical thing to do here in the situation. They challenged you to they challenge the messengers, prophets, or whoever to bring doom upon them instead of turning righteous. So we can see how bad, these people are. And the title of the previous verse is "Belief in the Hereafter is Required for Salvation." So people who don't believe in the hereafter. They don't like the idea of the hereafter. Maybe they prefer the idea of reincarnation, or these other, uh, uh, you know, um, misguided beliefs. That's not gonna be acceptable. And despite all the history lessons and precedents that have been set for them in the past, they still make such challenges instead of turning to God, back to God for forgiveness, imploring God for help, and turning righteous and leading a righteous life, and God willing, eventually reaching happiness, they'd rather be miserable and incur misery. But this is what they wanted. So this is why we don't feel sorry for such people. And despite these people's actions, God is still full of mercy. Um, but He's also strict in enforcing retribution. He's the most gracious, most merciful. But we have to, as submitters, we know all of His qualities and His to God belongs the most beautiful names, and so we don't take anything for granted, but we also don't despair in His mercy. 7, those who disbelieve say, if only a miracle could come down to him from his Lord, we will then believe. You are simply a warner. Every community receives a guiding teacher. God knows what every female bears and what every womb releases or gains. Everything He does is perfectly measured. So, even if a miracle came down to these people, they wouldn't believe, because miracles have come down and they still disbelieve. And, many of the people who believed or claimed or maybe apparently believed after miracles came down, there's a lot of people, these people that reverted or disbelieved. For example, the people of Moses, the magicians, they believed and then they forgot about God, or they ended up worshiping the calf and the idols. And so this is this isn't to say they can't come back, but people, most people who make this statement would not believe. Miracles are all around them. Their own existence, their own their soul, sleep. Like, how do you even explain sleep to these people? Like, you basically are put to death and then you're resurrected. You're in it, and it happens perfectly, and the smoothest transition, and you're in these other I wouldn't say reality, but you're for lack of a better explanation. It's amazing. So maybe more miracles shouldn't be, but proofs for the people. So if a proof isn't enough for these people to at least make them think about God, or maybe give them motivation to look into understanding God, or seeking out the truth. If it doesn't like kickstart something, you know, a miracle isn't gonna work for these people, and God will send them miracles, and yet they still disbelieve. Mashallah, and God, everything God does is perfectly measured. He knows what every female, as we just read, womb contains. Verse 9, the knower of all secrets and declarations, the supreme, the most high. It is the same whether you conceal your thoughts or declare them, or hide in the darkness of the night, or act in the daylight. So He's the knower of all secrets and declarations. So um, whether we conceal our thoughts, or declare them, or hide in the darkness of the night, or act in the daylight, it's the same. So we may think we're hiding from the people, or even hiding from ourselves. You could be hiding in darkness and you can't even see yourself, or with clothes, or whatever the case is, whatever you're wearing, or even around you, but God still sees all these things. So it's the same with our thoughts, and that's why we have to be very aware, I think extremely aware of our thoughts and the whispers that could come to us, and why we should seek refuge and not let Satan quietly creep in, because this is how he works. He'll creep in very quietly. We have to keep in mind, and I know we know this, but we have to kind of keep it in mind. Speaking for myself here, and just from what I've noticed with time, is being where his prime targets. There's so much at stake. He'll do anything and everything, and he will try to be very quiet and go undetected. But it's, our job to seek refuge in God. Only God can help us to sift out these things and be purified. And so, and also, verse 10, he's the knower of all secrets. He knows even the most secret of the secret. He knows the deepest caverns of our hearts and our soul, things we probably may not even know. Well, he knows everything. Of course, there's things like we might not know about even ourselves. And even the most secret of the secret, the future, what we'll be thinking in 2 minutes from now or 2 years or something, or 20 years. And zikr, constant zikr and remembrance of God helps us to. God does not change the condition of any people unless they themselves make the decision to change. If God wills any hardship for any people, no force can stop it, for they have none beside him as Lord as for they have none beside him as Lord and Master. So, praise be to God. There's guards around us, and they're in front of us and behind us. Yet if we look in front or we look behind us, we're not gonna see them, but they're there. And we have absolute certainty about it. Especially, if you just looking at the miracle, and we have the counts. This alone serves as a powerful enough proof. For example, this verse has the word God and Allah 3 times, right? So so the total count here is going to increase, of course, with all the other verses we read and the rest of the verses on this page, on this page, how the count corresponds to it. It's going to increase by 3 just for verse 11, but you can't count verse 11 3 times, and this for the total verses. So this is so intricate, and this is the literary mathematical composition. There's also structural mathematical composition. So these are the words, the letters, the ALRs. For example, I think there's ALMR. So there's a lot. I don't speak Arabic or really know, but we can just know that there's A's and L's in these words. So this is also having to have a law right here. If they challenge, if we think about the greatness, it would of this aspect, that having this 3 times brings up the total number of God right here. But it also only has to work here too, because it just has to, in the 118,000, I think the total something, 118,000 something is the total. Verse 11 is only added once. You don't add plus 11, but on top of that, this changes each a lot right here, along with everything, but this specifically changes the A, all the other, it's so perfect, so there's, witnessing just like we did together, just now, God willing, hopefully I explained it okay. Is strengthens and our belief about these things even more, like re-witnessing and thinking about these things. So, so we can have certainty about, the reality around us, the unseen dimensions, and also, we're told that, unless people make the decision to change themselves, God does not change the condition of these people, so if someone is messing up, not doing good, disbelieving or idol worshiping, and they're content with that, or they're disbelieving or idol worshiping, and they're content with that, or they're I guess, just ignorant. Their situation is not going to improve or change in this regard until they make the decision to change. So, I mean, it also goes both ways as well. So people, people ultimately, this is another proof that people who choose to disbelieve in God, choose to disregard their covenant. Um, if they continue in this decision, they're not going to be helped by God. They're not going to be guided by God. He is the one verse 12, he is the one who shows you that lightning is a source of fear as well as hope, and he initiates the loaded clouds. The thunder praises his glory, and so do the angels out of reverence for him. He sends lightning bolts which strike in accordance with his will, yet they argue about God, though his power is awesome. Imploring him is the only legitimate supplication, while the idols they implore beside him cannot ever respond. Thus they are like those who stretch their hands to the water, but nothing reaches their mouths. The supplications of the disbelievers are in vain. SubhanAllah. Praise be to God. So we have, something incredible as lightning. As we were talking earlier about reverence God, meaning we marvel at his infinite majesty, his power. His ability to control, all the fish and creatures, even in the darkest parts of the, Pacific Ocean, and then all the things. And then, you run over to Saturn, and he's controlling everything within the core of Saturn, all the ice and rocks that are in its rings. And that's not even that's just not even beginning to like scratch the surface. So, that in of itself is not a good. It's not even, we can never fathom the verse, they can never fathom the greatness of God. So the rain cools down the earth, it cools us down, it brings, it grows crops. If there's drought, eventually all your crops are gonna dry up, die, turn to hay. We just, mashallah, we just finished reading Surah 12. And that's why those who, argue about God, it's not wise. These people that engage in vain talk or even lie about God. We see this often, the idol worshippers, but they don't have any knowledge about this. His power is so awesome, and yet they're here setting up idols. The disbelievers are in vain. So they're worshiping nothing, essentially. That's what they're doing. In the same way you'd stretch your hand to the water and nothing is given to you. Nothing. You don't reach anything. You don't have anything solid. Just they don't have the truth and the falsehood is not the same. It's all their imploring and supplications are in vain because they're imploring other than God, and it'll always be like that. It'll never produce. Yeah, and also just one last thing about the thunder. I don't think I really talked about, but the thunder praises his glories, and so do the angels out of reverence. So when you hear state, if this the whole state that you're living in started thundering, yet along the country, yet the earth, it would be, I mean, it would be incredible, So, and the angels praise his glory. So everything glorifies God, and um, as we finish reading in the verse, his power is awesome. It's truly awesome. 15. All creation is submitted to God. To God prostrates everyone in the heavens and the earth, willingly or unwillingly, and so do their shadows in the morning. The sun, from this verse, from this verse and other verses in the Quran, he could have easily designed the shadows to be, not because we have to, or, not because we have to, or, because we want to. This is the distinction and what separates a submitter versus an objector. and or a disbeliever or a believer is someone who willingly submits, is happy to submit, right? As we have to be cheerful, and we want to be cheerful. It's almost, we would just vanish. So, I mean, it's almost incomparable, and that's just the sun. But these creatures uh, worship God, they submit, and they glorify God, and so so should we. So I mean, this is your your sibling or something, your something, your friend, and and like no, I'll worship Jesus, or they would call that insanity, insane. Like, what a weird human to worship another, like their sibling. Like, you pray, let's say, to the sibling doesn't know, just as Jesus doesn't know, or Muhammad, but you pray to them. They themselves need provisions. They need help. The prophets, messengers, we all need help. We can't do anything really by ourselves. I mean, we can't, like the verse says, can they even prevent their own death? Surely if they could, they would, but they can't, right? If they could grow to 100 feet tall, they probably would too, but we don't see that happening. I mean, how powerful are they? And also, have they found idols besides God who created creation similar to his creations to the point of not distinguishing the two creations, So, um, like, there's people that attribute part of the creations to Jesus. I mean, it's really ignorant, and I guess I'll be a little harsher here, but it's different from what God has created, like in the sense of um, what's different about their creation and what God has created, then, oh, there's nothing different because it's God has created everything. I mean, they can't even think of creating something that is different or what God has created or could create, like their imagination couldn't even surpass that. So, say God is the creator of all things. He is the one in this. He is the one, the supreme. The truth verse falsehood 17. He sends down water from the sky, causing valleys to overflow, and the rapids produce abundant foam. Similarly, when they use fire to refine metals for their jewelry or equipment, foam is produced. God thus cites analogies for the truth and falsehood. As for the foam, it goes to waste, while that which benefits the people stays close to the ground. God thus cites the analogies. So the falsehood, the foam, stuff that's useless and doesn't benefit the people, it gets discarded. I mean, just like, uh, I mean, just it's a good see the stuff, the foam that's produced from the top, and it's garbage. Like, really, it's garbage. So I mean, in the same way, the truth and the falsehood, it kind of reminds me maybe become the hereafter. So, and this is the real reward is the hereafter. So, and this is the real reward is being on earth. Well, not just like, so it doesn't just stop there. It also all the oil, all the natural resources, the rare earths, all the buildings, the real estate. Not just that. It doesn't. I mean, the space in the earth, the crust, the stuff within the earth, the core. I mean, and then twice as much. I mean, they would. And this is just an example from what we can understand, but they would readily give it up as ransom. And they'll realize that they could have attained something so much better, and that's worshiping God alone, the omnipotent, the most great, the one to whom belongs all mysteries. The caller, whether it was a messenger, a prophet, or any even us, if we give somebody the message, and nothing special about us. I mean, we have our own necks to worry about, you know. Um, and we have our own affairs we have to and soul to work on and develop. So But yeah, these people who we can see, um, like the devastation of these people. So this is, it's not worth it, like, but what these people trade away. And there's probably some people that even know about God's omnipotence, and yet they worship idols out of peer pressure, just to preserve some worldly friendship, you know, like, oh, like, I don't want to be an outcast. I'm just going to keep worshiping Jesus. And instinctively, you talk to these people and you know that, but they chunk the towel, they throw in the towel, they drop out, Christian hypocrites, they're everywhere. I mean, and if they don't respond now, they're definitely going to get the message after, at some point, but it's better than not to, not incur, retribution in this life. We know the upcoming smoke prophecy that's going to happen. So, uh, and seeking their Lord, observe the contact prayer Salah. Spend from our provisions to them secretly and publicly, encounter evil with good. These have deserved the best abode. They enter the gardens of Eden together with the righteous among their parents, their spouses, and their children. The angels will enter to them from every door. Peace be upon you because you steadfastly persevered. What a joyous destiny. So, you know, I mean, it's not God, and they're the real fools, and they're arrogant about it too. They don't like the truth. They don't like accountability. They don't, the disbelievers. Um, they violate their covenant, so they don't want to believe in accountability, or even if they get proof of some way, they run away in aversion, right? When God alone is mentioned, when there's no intercessors, when it's made clear to them, their hearts don't like this, so their ears, they become blocked. And I mean, really, this is just too bad for these people. There's not going to be um, any helper for these people, and it's because and these people, we don't. I mean, we can remind them, talk to them, and really, their reckoning rests with their Lord. But they could become believers, but also in the sense that they're inviting other people to hell with them. So I mean, like if somebody came knocking on your door and wants you to, you know, go ride a boat with him out into a pit of lava and jump in. I mean, you think that's the most evil person ever, but I mean, he doesn't realize, or she doesn't realize, but this is essentially why these people, especially the hypocrites among, the hypocrites even themselves. And so, I mean, God will save, God will invariably save, save the real submitters and believers from these people, these congregations of these people, right? That, I mean, one of the big things, I mean, as we mentioned before, circumcision, I mean, this is, or food prohibitions, I mean, Abraham's covenant, I mean, they also, so the believers join what God has commanded to be joined. Do not commit evil, do not transgress. These people can't fear or reverence God, or fear the dreadful reckoning, because maybe they would, if they even had an Adam's weight of probably of this. And also, steadfastly persevering and seeking their Lord. This is a trait that, um, that we all have, I guess to different degrees, but this is something that's not easy, because when you're being, uh, mocked or ridiculed or persecuted or shouted at and stuff, and or even if it's not that, if it's or that if it's that to varying degrees, whatever the situation is. But even if it's also other things, like just you know peer pressure and these other things, or you're just being quietly invited by people. I mean, this is you don't lean towards these people, and thank God for His help and His reminders, and He snaps us out of it if we just we have examples in the Quran. Okay, so we're it's a little bit over time, so I'll just finish reading the verses here, God willing. Um, and in 23, they enter the gardens of Eden together with the righteous among their parents, their spouses, and their children. The angels will enter them from every door. Peace be upon you, because you steadfastly persevere with a joyous destiny. And two, the disbelievers. As for the one who violate God's covenant after pledging to keep it, and sever what God has commanded to be joined, and commit evil, they have incurred condemnation. They have incurred the worst destiny. So just as we covered earlier, the people who violate their pledge and their covenant and mislead people, by virtue of misleading themselves, these people have incurred the worst destiny. So with this being said, if there's any comments or questions, please feel free. And if I made any mistakes, may God forgive me. Thank you.
Mashallah, thank you.
MashaAllah.
I think you could stop the screen share.
Okay.
Mashallah, thanks. Good study. Did you explain the difference between dioecious and non-dioecious? Oh, Sean, are you able to hear me?
Let's listen. One second. No, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that I remember in environmental science, plant biology, learning about this, but I don't. I do know like
Mm-hmm.
certain like herbs and stuff, and uh, like something I think of that are good for kidneys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've seen these before and in school, but no. What's the difference?
Yeah, so they are just different types, you know. So basically,
Male and female
if
organs. Yeah.
so, well, so there's dioecious. Dioecious means like two houses, and monoecious or non-dioecious is like one house. So basically, um, the non-dioecious are the plants with separate sexes. Uh, so monoecious plants or non-dioecious plants Um, with separate sexes have both male and female reproductive organs on the same individual plant. And dioecious are the plants that have male and female reproductive organs on separate individual plants. So so basically they're male plants and female plants. Yeah, so they're male plants and they're female plants in the dioecious side, and then the others, they have the male and female organs inside the same plant. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, I. Mhm. No, I asked it. Yeah, I asked Gemini for definition of dioecious and non-dioecious, so I could read it out, and it also gave me this other one for some reason. So it printed out dioecious, non-dioecious, and then it printed out another one called bisexual flowers. It's a hermaphroditic flowers. It's important to note that the vast majority of flowering plants are neither strictly dioecious nor monoecious, but have bisexual or perfect flowers. Each individual flower contains both male parts and female parts, like roses, lilies, and apple trees. I mean, why call it bisexual? It's just they're just plants. But Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's not bisexual because it has specific organs for it. Is designed. It's working the way it's designed to work. Unlike people who are transgressing and practicing such acts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ridiculous. These people, become scientists. End up putting their own agenda in somehow. Yeah. I bet the person who came up with this term had issues. Like Trump. Hmm. 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 Yeah. To me, it's like if. Hmm. Oh, uh, John, I think check your check your settings. I think your voice is not coming through anymore. Just me. That's even worse.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
um, mm,
yeah. I think I
yeah.
had muted the mic.
But I think probably after you switched, weird, huh? No, because you should mute the study, mute it from the study, and unmute from your phone. Mute the mic on the study.
Like the desktop audio stop, but I have it unmuted for the mic, so they should.
Yeah, so if the desktop audio stopped, then yeah, that wouldn't hear any audio. So what you can do?
I'm just going through the mic right now. Like I have my phone.
Well, you can also right click on OBS and restart capture audio capture. If you see that
Okay, I think I figured it out.
Okay, now.
Okay, so what had happened when I turned down my volume to my laptop? That way, there's no echo from my phone. That turned off the desktop audio in OBS. Like I can't mute
Why?
it. It just
It
did.
just did. Okay.
It's weird. OBS is so trippy because like if I cannot physically even use my volume buttons when I press my volume buttons on my laptop when it's open, it opens the screenshot tool. Yeah, I'll show you. I'm telling you, it's really happening. So like, I have to use my control from the taskbar. It's nuts. Okay. Maybe I'll just speak through the computer then or something. Maybe.
Yeah, but I think now it should be fine, right? Because is it fluctuating now?
Yeah, it's fluctuating.
Okay, so it's fine.
Yeah, but I have to turn it up too.
It's echoes then.
Right.
All right. So the thing about people not being able to believe in the hereafter, like you said, like in verse 5, it says, "If you ever wonder, the real wonder is they're saying." I mean, it's a very peculiar way of making the statement, right? Like, really, if it's like if you want to hear something really like know the future, so but for example, like why do people think that God cannot bring them back, like, or God would not bring them back? So like what would stop God? Like, there's nothing stopping God. God is omnipotent, and if He created you now, I mean, why can't He recreate you again? You know, um, I mean, now people understand like things from the basics of science, for example, the science of cloning and genetics and everything, right? Like the example that the messenger of the covenant gives, about the printing factory, about the printing factory. It's a very simple one or two sequences here or there, like things will not work, or says here or there, like things will not work, or something, Um, but really, people don't realize the complexity of creation that exists, And if God can create these for us, I mean, you and I are living testament of God's omnipotence. We're conscious creatures, autonomous creatures, making decisions, doing things, having perception and things like that. I mean, how did that happen? I mean, if someone can do that, I mean, what would stop them? Even for God to bring you out, you don't have to be a very educated person to believe in resurrection, right? I mean, it's almost like part of our natural instinct. Like when you tell a child, that God will bring us back, like the child doesn't have any um, uh, hurdles in accepting that. It's just, I think, when the ego grows, and people start to question God's um, uh, workings, But really, that's what the verse is saying. Like, why are people? I mean, really, this is one of the most, I mean, or the most important factor when it comes to believing. It's what differentiates a true believer from a hypocrite. It's like they can't get over these doubts, right? And so, one of the most important one in that, is the belief in recreation and the hereafter that stops most people from going. to the next level. I mean, the difference between heaven and hell really, is the belief in the hereafter for most people. But this is a requirement for our salvation. So if someone can't get this requirement, they're not gonna make it.
Inshallah. Yeah. Yeah, too, like I think people that disbelieve, I mean, in the hereafter, I think if they believe in God, but they claim to believe in the hereafter, but they're worshiping idols. So, they you look at them like no, they really believe in heaven and hell, but they're just worshiping idols. But they don't actually believe in like the hereafter. I think in their mind is just some false fantasy,
Hmm.
because they don't believe that God alone possesses all the power. They believe that Jesus or Muhammad will intercede on their behalf, and then therefore their hereafter is like fine tuned, not fine tuned, but it's attuned to their own, like what their heart desires. They don't, and then they even criticize, they despise, like, and they also they look down on people like, oh, good works can't get you into heaven. You have to believe in the blood and the sacrifice. No one's that. And I'm like, okay, like we're not, they they look at you like if you're trying to be righteous, if you're trying to seek God's mercy and trying to do good, they literally discourage that. And when I say they,
Hmm.
I'm referring to many Christians, you
Hmm.
know, that they don't like the idea of that like I think I told you recently there was one I talked to
Hmm.
that that said I was like, whoa, it was a nice, like, not really debate but just more kind of like answering questions. But he
Hmm.
said, he's like, I think heaven is really easy to get into, like, and I'm like, whoa, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I've never even heard that from, like, I was the first time I heard that from, and I'm like,
Even
wow,
Trump knows you can't get into heaven.
huh?
Even Trump knows you can't get into heaven.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I should have told him that.
Maybe then he should have accepted it.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
said
it's
Trump
funny
is
because
crazy.
I think this person like Trump or something, but I mean,
Yeah,
I've talked to them about that too. Like, showed
yeah,
them stuff with the Epstein, like just the demonic stuff that is going on, and but
yeah.
anyway, but yeah, man, like I was just, it's I think it's a trait, with humans. They just wishful thinking, or they think that like they want to
Hmm.
create heaven. Like, no, man, like it's
Hmm.
not. You can't just
Hmm.
you can't escape from
Hmm.
like accountability and like doing
Yeah.
all these bad things and then going to church and then thinking it's okay. Like, is
Hmm.
that's injustice, and
Yeah.
really the biggest injustice. You can't escape from disregarding God's omnipotence, disregarding, disbelieving in His greatness, and then worshiping other than Him,
Hmm.
and then trying to mislead other people by virtue of your
Hmm.
disbelief.
Hmm.
Even if they don't go and tell people, by them sharing posts about Jesus, or them even praying, even if they're praying about it, and you hear that, like, you're still indirectly like setting a bad example for people. So,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah,
but
I saw this video of one person on TikTok. Like like a not a teenager, but maybe a young person. And maybe probably in their 20s, early 20s or something. And he was crying. He was like, life is very tough. People say it's easy, but he's like, oh, I don't have. And he's crying about this life. And he's like, he's like, I don't even have anybody waiting for me in heaven. It's like, like you're
uh,
already thinking about how difficult this life is, but you think that going into heaven is easy.
going to,
Like you already know you're going, but you're just sad that nobody's gonna be there waiting for you.
yeah,
Which, if he knew what the hereafter is, there's gonna be spouses there.
right,
Even if you die single, I mean, still gonna have a
exactly.
spouse.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
shouldn't be crying about that. Worrying about not having someone. Like he's already going to heaven.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. If they believe, they wouldn't be thinking like that. They'd
Mm-hmm.
be happy,
Mm-hmm.
because then they also
Mm-hmm.
realize that don't go running for spouses here on earth. Like, don't worry about the
Mm-hmm.
materials of this earth. If they
Mm-hmm.
come, they come. Of God, or if they don't. But
Mm-hmm.
the best abode is with God and hereafter. So all that,
Mm-hmm.
God willing, if you make it, will be given to you. So that's what.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that's kind of funny how it was
Yeah.
like. It reminds me of this other thing. So I scrolled up. I don't. Sorry to go kind of off topic, but it just made me think. Like I was scrolling on TikTok. This was like I don't know if I told you, but it was like several months ago. It was a TikTok live, and there was this dude like covered in blood. It was fake blood, and he was beating on drums and like praising Jesus. Like, dude, it looked like a
Mm-hmm.
murder scene. And it was funny because people in the comments were like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" And like he really thought he was worshiping and doing good. And I just told him, I'm like, man, like this is. I said if I was a like alien from Andromeda and I came across this and I didn't know, like I would think this is some type of satanic ritual, like you're covered in
Mm-hmm.
blood or something. I mean, there's no aliens, but let's just say
Mm-hmm.
I was from a remote village. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of debated. I was like, man, this isn't. But he paused and then he like stopped his drums and he read it and then he just responded like
Mm-hmm.
he's like, no, like you gotta believe, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it was crazy, dude. It was like a murder scene. Like he was all like there
Uh,
was blood everywhere and he put it on like to signify. I mean, it's all
uh,
pagan.
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
this.
you should see those Shia, people, like they call them in English, they call them Shiites, which
It's
is,
right.
yeah, which is, in British English, it's bad, it's a bad word,
Oh
but
yeah,
Shiites,
Shiites.
yeah. But you know how they brutally beat themselves and they cut themselves with blades, and they're actually covered in blood, and they're hitting themselves and mourning, for the death of martyrdom of the
Oh, Muhammad.
nephews of Muhammad.
Wait, not even Muhammad. They're just doing all that for the nephews.
Yeah, because they also idolize them.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. They idolize Muhammad so much that they even idolize the nephews. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah, they idolize everybody in Muhammad's family pretty much now. Even
Mhm.
the Sunnis do idolize them, but only the Shias will actually beat themselves up, literally.
That's crazy. So the Sunnis won't do
Yeah.
that, but the Shiites will.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I've heard that term before, Shiites, from
Yeah.
somebody years ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I wonder if they made it like that on purpose.
I don't know. Like I'm pretty. Yeah, I feel like I.
Yeah, like how they distorted it for Muslims, like they made it Muslim.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, man, they set like the worst examples. They repulse.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in a way,
Mm-hmm.
it's good because then you're repulsing people from
Mm-hmm.
I mean satanic inversion of the truth,
Yeah.
idol
Mm-hmm.
idol worship. So I mean,
Yeah.
and it makes honestly it really like when somebody comes into submission either from that or from somewhere else, it makes everything so much, I guess, better and more beautiful and sweeter because you realize, oh man, there's none of that
Mm-hmm.
like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
pagan nonsense. Like
Mm-hmm.
this makes sense. Like uh,
Mm-hmm.
this is pure and this is wonderful. God alone.
Mm-hmm.
There's none of these like all these rituals you find in today's Islam, today's Christianity and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
none of this hooligan nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, TikTok has some interesting things that pop up from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Sorry, I just I was busy something doing. Anyway, I have a question about verse 7. So every community receives a guiding teacher. So that's I was always thinking for every community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I messenger was explaining in one audio or video I heard,
Mm-hmm.
and he was saying that every community means like, and once one time he said like the traditional Muslim, they have received Prophet Muhammad for that community, and the Jewish people, they also received the messenger. That's also community. I think she was saying something like that, or every village or every where the people will receive the guiding teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Or say for us, like we call the submitter. So for us, the guiding teacher, we.
For those people.
Mhm.
Mhm. And also, you have the Quran as a messenger,
Mhm. Mhm.
on top of that. So it's God's system that He does send messengers, right? In that sense, whether there's a commissioned messenger or the message just somehow
Mhm.
going to some messenger, whether it's a living thing or not.
Mhm. Okay, so every community
Mm-hmm.
receive the guiding teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So okay.
I mean, like your people, that you grew up around, went to school with, or known for a while, or even work with, Brother Nizam, you like as a decommissioned messenger, you're these people, remember like everything will be called to account, and they're going to be questioned, about these matters. But of course, like in the like Brother Suleiman says, like I mean, the world, has we all have the messenger of the covenant, but in the sense of like these other smaller communities that we are around, or people, um, villages, towns, cities. We're also messenger. Like we give these people the message, and the Quran too is a messenger, as Suleiman said. So,
Mhm.
which is good. You know why? I mean, it's good to as the situation permits, because not everybody is like open. But if somebody you can tell wants to maybe talk about philosophy or religious stuff, then that's like a good maybe entrance. Like I usually will take to just you know suggest and recommend and give them a message, and then just depending on how they respond or follow up, we'll I guess every situation is different. But I mean, also, making like striving and like I mean, even being here right now, or making videos, or just or um, whether it's yourself talking, or on TikTok or Facebook, for example, like a good video explaining why why Jesus is not to be worshipped, and using their own scriptures, that they uh, claim to follow and believe in, and then stuff like that. We can also perhaps, I guess, uh, be a reminder for these people. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, it's all stuff that we can do to kind of train and better ourselves, like become better speakers and better put together to advocate for the truth and your practice in this regard. And also, we get, uh, God willing, He accepts our credit, our work from us in this respect.
I have also another question. For example, the village I born, I grown up, and so most of the people like the hardcore idol worshiper, and they like worshiping like the saint, all these things, so it's so impossible to give them the message, it's so hard. And I was giving them, but they're not the right, indirectly, not I cannot say them, oh, I have now we have the new messenger and blah blah blah. And so
Why
till
can't you say that?
huh
Why can't you say? You mean when you go to the country?
yes, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll be so, so because I know, I understand them,
Mm-hmm.
so how to, so am I will be I be liable for not saying the like
Truth.
like truth, like the I'm just
Well, I
saying
mean,
truth the other way, but
the
I'm
thing
not
is,
giving like, though this is, we have the new messenger seal, you have to this
mm-hmm.
way, because I think that if I go them the straight way, they'll not listen to me, and they'll
Well, the thing is, I mean, unless you're worried about your safety, like
mm,
you think they'll kill you or something, I
mm,
mean, then you don't have to talk to them about submission at all, right?
mm,
But the thing is, if you're not worried about that, then and you're still talking to them,
mm,
that you're worried that if you tell them this way that they will not accept it. The thing is, and but they still don't accept it, right? So,
mm,
but the thing is, like, if God wants them to accept the message, you know,
mm,
they'll hear it, they'll believe it. If they're
mm,
not destined to accept the message, I mean, don't doesn't matter how we try to spin it. For
mm,
them, they're not gonna accept it. Like God says, even if you dug a tunnel through the earth, uh,
Um,
like
uh,
they still not accept. So the thing is, like, I mean, you should just think about whether it's an environment where like your life is in danger, like literally. If that's not the case, then you should tell them. You might as well like tell them. I mean, it's not your obligation, for example,
mm,
to tell someone about the message. But if you're giving them the message, then like God says, we should be straightforward,
mm,
right? And if you're not
mm,
afraid of your life or something, you might as well tell them, like, I know what you mean. It's hard, you know but the
mm,
thing is, it will become easy, like, for you this way. Eventually, like, it'll be hard in the beginning to break it to them, but
mm,
but the thing is, like, you just remember that if they're destined to get the message, eventually the conversation will be steered in a way that you
mm,
will tell them everything, and the words will come out, and they'll accept it. But if they're
mm,
not destined to accept it, it doesn't matter how beautifully you say it or like what angle you come from, you know, they're not gonna accept, right?
mm. Yeah, but when you see the environment, and you see the people, mostly, and it's look like there is no way to tell them this kind of message. So many
Mm-hmm.
there's yeah,
I
and
mean,
Yeah, you
well,
just have to
I
you have to
guess
not worry
it
about that.
depends. Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
like, what do you mean by the environment, brother Nizam? Like, is it like
Like their mindset, the
yeah,
people's mindset.
like
their mindset up, it's
their
look like
minds are made up like they're
made up, yeah,
hypnotized?
made up, yeah,
Yeah.
it's look like, yeah, and
Yeah, I mean their culture, it's like they're so gung ho about worshiping
mm-hmm,
the prophet. They're
mm-hmm,
they're
mm-hmm,
so
Yeah.
stuck
I
in their
mean,
ways.
it can
So
be, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it can
yeah,
be
like
like
like John is a
discouraging.
good example, right? Go ahead,
Huh?
John.
Oh, no,
I
no.
said
I
I
was
said
just,
like you're a good example. Like you're telling people about God alone, and all
yeah,
these hardcore um, Jesus worshippers.
worshiper. Yeah, very hard.
So
Yeah, like it can be discouraging and stuff.
yeah.
But in the sense, like, really, I'm doing it for myself because, and I'd like to grow my soul. And then also, for like these people, because when I first started, like, I'm thinking, and this was definitely from Satan, but I quickly sought refuge. Like, you could
Hmm.
tell, but like, oh well, maybe, like, these people, they don't get better than they don't even hear the message, because then if they end up in hell, but like, it's obviously from Satan. I mean, this was like early, when I first started like advocating, like, well, if they get the message and they don't believe, they're going to be like, we know from the Quran, they're going to be in the worst position because they're going to be like, oh, alas, like, I wish I followed the path of the messenger. Like, when the message came to me, I disregarded it, you know, and I think it's Surah 25, and they'll bite their hands. So, I mean, like, but I mean, like, I guess from what I'm thinking, like, there always could be, you know, like somebody, like, even if the situation looks grim, there could be seemingly somebody that, like, uh, is so hypnotized and in God, something could happen where they're snapped out of it. But usually with these people, I'll just put the ball in their court, so to speak. Like with the Christians, and just depending, like if they're like very, like you said, Brother Nizam, if they're like super hypnotized and just adamant on their idol worship, I just leave it. But at least, you know, the ball's in their court and they had it. It's come to them, and then it's up to them. Now, if somebody's more like open and like interested, or like maybe wants to ask questions, then I'll be a lot more engaging, and that's when I'll start firing like all the guns I can. Like Suleiman said, like come from different angles and stuff. And you know, most of the time they don't. You know, I don't think there's been one situation, but it's still it feels good to do it in the sense like, you know, because and you also want, like, you see these people and you know what's coming, you know, like the day of judgment, and you know it's not, we know we can't save people, we know God guides, but I guess it's like you wanted what you would be want if you were like these people, you would want it to be done for you. If you were totally like in the Matrix in this sense, I mean, really, it's very similar. You'd want somebody to tap you and like shake you out of it, like wake up, you know. So I mean, I think that's kind of what motivates me to one of the motivations and helps. But also at the same time, you know, like if they're averse and they're just opposing, you know, it's I don't continue like with such people. I just, you know, especially if you know, like after a certain amount of time, like these people probably aren't going to believe until some retribution or like the smoke hits them, and just it's, you know, leave it alone.
Yeah, I am also, if I have that, you know, I'm waiting also the smoke happen. Maybe that time it will be easy to tell them. You
Yeah,
see what's happening.
yeah.
See, there's so, so that's also I'm waiting if I am alive that time. God willing. Yeah. So otherwise, you know, it's look like Brother Salaman already he has experience about the, you know, the country, the Pakistan, Bangladesh, you know, the India. So those people, so they are, you know, they cannot believe that this new messenger is so. Mhm. They are fighting only for their like with themselves. You know, it's like only one person believe one hadith, another person does not believe that hadith, and then they fight. You know, but when you are going to tell them, and you have and there are some areas you can, you know, you can tell something, but some areas is so so rigid, you know,
Mm.
about the their culture and the worship of Prophet Muhammad, you know. So
Yeah,
this.
they probably don't deserve to believe then. So I wouldn't, like, if they start going, being acting like that from early on to the get go. I wouldn't even just waste your like. There's a saying, you know, don't cast your pearls before swine. You know,
Mhm.
so they want to be swine, and because you know, the swine would, like, you put pearls before a bunch of swine and pigs, they would just you know, trample it and
Mhm.
mess it up and dirty it, something so valuable, because they don't have any. I mean, they're swine. They don't know what these things are. So I
Mhm.
would waste your time on like those types of people.
Yeah, that's also I was thinking. Yeah, I said it's no use, you know, when you have the brain and you see that, because they don't deserve to get this message. That's I am understanding. Because otherwise, you know, I had some encourage to tell them, because I do not see any environment to approach them you know, properly, or to tell, because they are so rigid about their belief, you know, they are
Mhm.
worshiping. And
Right. Yeah, that's a big thing. You know, it needs to the environment. Like, I mean, yeah, like I understand what you're saying. You know, it's very repulsive. You know, like any advance you would make, it would just violently oppose it or something. Yeah, they don't. They must not deserve to. But I mean, yeah, like I think God will inspire you. You know, so if you see like a nice situation, like you could just be a one-on-one private, and you're
Mhm.
like someone behind the cash register, and there's not a lot of people around, and he's really calm and kind of open, like which might be more of a rarity. But
Mhm.
that's like an opportunity. Like, oh, okay, well, this is a good. You know, if they start talking about something, they're obviously not like violent and adamant and crazy and stuff. So
Oh yeah, that I do little bit. Yeah, because when I see some people and I know the personally, individually, then then and I trust some people. Oh yeah, he listen or she listen, but he or she not be like so. Against me, or maybe so then then I tell them the truth, but and everything, but still they don't believe and they don't ask more question, and they whatever I explain them, when I told them and they said it's logical, but after that 5 months, 1 year, they forget everything and they are not asking anything, any question, what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, they don't come ahead, they just, but they, when I explain them and they, oh yeah, it makes sense, oh this is, and after that nothing, and they keep worshiping again the same way. It's, what.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, devils probably enticed them and led them on after the message came to them or something. You know, I've seen the same similar thing. You know.
Oh, I last Quran study. Actually, I was, I was asking some. Maybe I said that next Quran study I'll ask and one question about the funeral prayer. So, do you have any like the I mean, how to do the funeral prayer that like the traditional Muslim was doing? That you have to do the same way and the remove the idol, or do you have any
Yeah,
idea?
I don't
You
think.
have.
Yeah, I don't think they mention any idols in there. Do they?
No, because no, no, but no, but the way they said Allahu Akbar, and they say they read the Surah Fatiha, maybe they read also Surah Ikhlas, something like that. So we do not have to read the Surah Ikhlas, but we do the Surah Fatiha, those kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the
Yeah,
same way
I have.
almost.
Yeah, exactly. So I have this article. I'm gonna send it to you here
Mm-hmm.
in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
and you can take a look at that, Alvin, and see if you're able to access it. I also post it in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, no problem. Yes, yeah, I also thinking that the same way, but the one of the I think the video, so
Mm-hmm.
last part, right? Yeah, so messenger was saying he will going to pray the funeral prayer for for his mother,
Mm-hmm.
and what he was saying, oh okay, a two rakat or something like that, and people get confused. Is there, like I said, how can it could be a two rakat, or it's not the salat like salat is the another way, right? It's not, you do not have to, do you have to prostrate? No.
No, but it's kind of like you have two Allahu Akbars in there, you know?
Yeah. Just all everything
Yeah,
we did,
yeah.
when I was, on by standing.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to sit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's way. Yeah. But the full video was not, is not there. Only like he was
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Oh, do you know how to pray?" So and yeah,
Yeah.
and the way he
Yeah, I've
was
seen.
the way he was telling and explaining the other people, it looked like, we used to pray the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, that because
Mm-hmm.
for his mother we are going to pray. We have to do
Mm-hmm.
the, I mean, the intention. Something
Mm-hmm.
the same way. Yeah, almost that's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not
Yeah, so
the.
it says, stand by the dead person's casket if it is available, or just declare for
Mhm.
the group that you will be doing funeral prayer for the dead person.
Mhm.
You declare your intention of doing the funeral prayer for the dead person
Mm-hmm.
and raise your hand and say Allahu Akbar.
Mm-hmm.
Read Surah 1 Al Fatiha, the key. Say Allahu Akbar without raising your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Declare the Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Bear witness to no other God beside God, he has no partners. And say Allahu Akbar without raising your hand. Say your invocation to God, your supplication or dua for the dead person, asking God for his mercy on the dead person and to grant him or her forgiveness and reward him and keep him or her with the righteous in the hereafter and admit him or her into heaven. Without raising your hands, say Allahu Akbar the third time and do more prayers. End the funeral prayer by saying Salaam Alaikum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one when I read from that when I became a submitter that time like 5 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and the beginning I was reading also that submission.org, and they
Org,
did
yes.
something. Yeah, they and I
But
yeah I
arg,
yeah they did so
arg
many
would be,
things.
but
Thing
arg would be, but arg would be actually more suitable.
submission.org submission.org. I think yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
If ARG was available, I would give them ARG, instead of org.
No. Yeah, anyway, but I
Is it
think so
RIG,
many things
ARG?
they and there so many things okay, but some things they messed a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Arg for argue.
Mm-hmm. What I found them mostly they said I see that messenger said the Adam was prophet, but they claim that Adam was not prophet. Maybe messenger something their website that I found that one mistake and some other little bit yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this kind of
They
thing.
also have issues with other things.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah. So the anyway if the people are searching for the truth, so by today or tomorrow they'll get the truth. That's my understanding. But
By today or
but
tomorrow?
no, not today, money, because if you see I keep searching.
Oh, you mean
You
sooner
know.
or later? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sooner or later. Yeah, sooner or later. Yeah, sooner or later. Yeah, that's you see my English, poor English. I
Uh,
so yeah, so that's I understand, and sometimes you can learn from even from the Jewish people. Sometimes they say the truth. It doesn't mean that, oh
mm,
yeah, I just follow him in everything. This is my under yeah. So but they did something. When I researched
mm,
so many things, then I said, oh, I can see their mistake. This is because messenger said this way, but they explain this way, so you can we can recognize.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So mashallah, so that's also I want to confirm with you also, because I read from that also, then I also understanding. I think it should be the, because God preserved the salat, and also God preserved the funeral prayer, because God mentioned in the Quran, so so it should be the preserved by the from the traditional Muslim even, no problem.
Sounds like you're on a motorcycle.
Where
In the background, yeah?
I have
Probably someone
really,
else.
yeah, it's not. I have no sound here now, right now,
Oh,
in my room.
oh,
Mm.
oh.
Mashallah.
John, are you on a motorcycle?
No, but I was on mute and I made a sound. I think, like, I wonder. I thought
Oh,
it was mute for a second, and
oh,
I looked at it and I
oh,
was like, no, I was on mute.
oh. What kind of sound did you make?
No, I was just like, I don't know, like doing something with my sinus or whatever,
Oh,
and then
okay.
it's actually sounded like that,
Well,
like
it
right
does
when you
sound like a
said that, but
motorcycle,
I was on
You
mute
sound like
though.
a Harley Davidson.
But I checked, I was like, oh man, I must be off mute, but I was on mute. That's a weird timing. Yeah, subhanAllah, I really like verse 11. You know, how there's shifts of angels that take turns
hmm
staying with each one of you, and they're in front of us and behind us, and they guard us in accordance with God's commands.
hmm
So, like, they're watching us right now, and
SubhanAllah.
subhanAllah.
This chapter title is Thunder, right? And this he's the one they
Yeah,
argue about God's revelations, and
yeah.
try to find mistakes. And but the thunder, God talks about the thunder. It's significant. The title of the chapter is also thunder. So God wants to really draw our attention to this. Because when you really look at the thunder, um, it should be something for you as a reminder of God's power. And imagine someone who has the power to strike lightning anywhere, or has the power to even initiate all these bolts that could literally fry you. You know um, and obviously, with it, I mean, God uses it to um,
Didn't that
continue
happen to
to.
the children of Israel? Sorry to laugh, but like
Mhm.
they did something real bad, and I think it was the lightning struck them as a
Struck them,
consequence, and then
yeah,
God revived
for their
them.
audacity, because they wanted to see God. No,
Yeah,
because
out of their
yeah,
audacity or something.
yeah. hmm
SubhanAllah, and God, I think, revived them like most
hmm
mercifully.
Yeah, yeah.
When you said the lightning could fry you, I was like, where? It's like, what's
Yeah,
gonna happen to them? But
yeah.
yeah, SubhanAllah. That's-
It just
Also, like
reminds me when I was a
he
kid.
revived them too. You know, he's the most merciful, so
Mhm.
he gave them.
Yeah.
Continues to
It,
give them chance. Despite the stuff they've done, you know,
yeah.
that's something we should all rejoice in, like even for ourselves. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, this reminds me what you said, about the children of Israel. Reminds me of the time when I was a kid, like with playing with my friends. His door, his door was actually made of like iron or steel or something, even like the pillars and everything. So I held it on both sides. I said, if like I was just joking, like funny, being funny. And
Mhm.
I said, if you want to go, I said, you have to go over my dead body, And I held both sides of the door with both hands. And as soon as I connected to the other side, you know, I felt a big, bolt of current flow through me, and I just, just fell down. Got up, like pretended like nothing happened.
What did your
So
friend? What did your friend say?
traumatized. He didn't say much. I mean, he was
He didn't try
fine.
to help you, or like, oh my gosh, like what happened?
No, no, he
Uh,
was just standing there, like, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's amazing, right? I mean, God uh, has all these powers, and yet, people are worshiping these, powerless idols. That they see all these things every day in
Mhm.
front of them, and all of this is glorifying God, right? And this says the thunder praises His glory out of reverence for Him. Well, it's like one of those things where God says, everything glorifies God, but we don't understand their glorification.
SubhanAllah. Yeah.
Yeah, brother. So the funeral prayer I was saying, they do the idols mean. So we have to do the shahada. So
Hmm.
we do the shahada ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, because but when they are doing the shahada,
Oh,
so
they're mentioning
for
Muhammad.
how. Yes, yeah, because
Okay.
they say they have to do full, yeah,
Hmm.
la ilaha illallah. Yeah,
Hmm.
they have to do
Yeah,
all this.
which those they you don't yeah, of course we don't join their
No, no, yeah, that I know, yeah.
yeah.
But the system is same. That the way we pray, they also pray this. But just only we have to remove those the innovation. So yeah, the system, the prayer system is same. God preserved the
Hmm.
system. Yeah, but yes, that's why.
Yeah, verse 21, God only we know God only commands us to do good. Like, all of it is for our happiness. He doesn't ever command vice or evil. We know Satan does that. And so, people who, as in the following, I think, verse after 21, the verse 25, the ones who sever what God has commanded to be joined aren't going to succeed.
Hmm.
Especially like when they lie about God. God, we have in the Quran that God has commanded. God, we have in the Quran that God has commanded. Uh, he doesn't command us to commit vice or evil or pain or misery. I mean, all these things. I mean, pain is not of God's kingdom, and to inflict it upon yourself or somebody else, transgress, violate the fruit. This is not what. But the people who sever this and do commit this, they're not going to win.
Hmm.
They're, even if they
Hmm.
think they're in the majority, you know, uh, friends can't protest and be like, "Oh, I didn't know how bad hell was," like, um, and so
Hmm.
we don't want it. We know
Hmm.
what's in uh,
Hmm.
what the hereafter entails, and we're not.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
Yeah, so mashallah, I was just searching about the thunder, and I just looked up on the thunder, and it says uh along the lightning. I'm gonna skip the lightning part, but about the thunder. Thunder is a sound greater than 20,000 degrees Celsius or 36,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hotter than the surface of the sun. So instantly it heats up the air hotter than the surface of the sun. That's
subhanallah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the surface of the sun.
yeah, hotter than like how is that even possible, right? I mean,
How do we
and
have something like that on the planet Earth too? Like, in such
hmm.
precise control, like it doesn't
Hmm.
just cause some chain reaction explosion and igniting stuff around it and like sets everything off. I mean, like,
Hmm.
it's
Right.
precise. It's so
Hmm.
precise.
Yeah. Controlled by a higher power. It describes a force of nature that is both majestic and inherently dangerous, yet fully subject to a higher order.
Subhanallah.
No.
Yeah, like if people aren't gonna argue with stuff like this, like atheists, and they probably just
Mm-hmm.
like it. That's why they don't. Nothing will convince them, because
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah, it's all,
yeah,
like with audibly,
dependable.
I make a song about thunder? I'm trying to remember. I think there was one song where there's thunder, but I don't know if it was about the thunder. I don't think it was.
Mm, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I need to look.
There's a nice thunder in the recitation though. Surah
Yeah.
13. I really like Surah 13.
Okay.
Mashallah. Yeah, like as you had mentioned, Messenger talked about it too. Like the Surah titles are chosen by God and they highlight um,
Yeah.
very important,
Like,
the most important,
hmm
or the theme, or however
hmm
it was put, of the Surah.
hmm Yeah, there is a song called Thunder Roars. In yeah,
Which
in the
which
astronaut
album?
album.
Oh, the second one. That's probably why.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
probably why I couldn't remember.
yeah. It has the lyrics there too. It says, "Thunder roars, praises his name. Angels bow in reverence. Unashamed, lightning strikes by his command. Power flows from his mighty hand. Yet they argue, can't you see his power, his majesty? Imploring idols." Nizam. I'm reading it for you because you can.
Okay.
Mashallah.
No problem, brother. Okay. So,
Yeah.
or you have to send me the lyrics, in my
Yeah.
WhatsApp group,
Yeah.
everything. Then I can read and
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah. Says, yet they argue, can't you see his power, his majesty, imploring idols, silence and void? In vain their voices lost and destroyed. Glory be to the one above. All creation sings his love. Shadows bow in the morning light to the Lord of to the Lord the God of might. Yeah, it's a nice. It says disbelievers lost and blind can control what's by design. Anyways, I think that's not about lightning. That's the only part about lightning is the part in the chorus that says thunder roars, praises his name, angels bow unashamed, hearts beat, shadows sway in his glory night and day. Yeah,
My phone just have a reminder that God is doing everything in 19 minutes.
like that's when God really strikes the earth.
Mm-hmm. Mashallah, yeah. Yeah, also, I think I had mentioned it to you, but I put in deep research, and Apophis is literally like because I know before we knew like it's on the website how it fits the
Mhm.
ticket in the sense where it's not an Earth annihilating asteroid, but it's not just some
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
baby
Little,
asteroid like or some
yeah.
uh
Mm-hmm.
like and I actually did. I didn't tell her it was Apophis. I told the deep research and did it for like 20 minutes, but other things too like but
Mm-hmm.
the Panelite matches like exactly
Mm-hmm.
because I just told it, I said, the asteroid that is not Apophis, but just like it as far as its size and density. That way, it's not biased in any way, or like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like try. Oh, NASA is gonna not say. But I said, just and then it literally the entire Middle East it's not gonna be good there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'll share it or send it to you. at some point, God willing. But it's not. Yeah, it's like I also did. I mean, the wind patterns, like in all variations and variances were accounted for. But yeah, it's not something that's gonna like annihilate us or the earth, but it is for 2, 5, 7, 1 year mark. There's different stages. I think it said around 7 months is when things kind of start to get better. But of course, the recovery, like a year, like people will start planting. Again, it did different scenarios, but like the variances were were pretty much like kind of what you'd expect, or what the messenger talked about as far as like and then also all the oil, the entire infrastructure is going to be changed. Like it's ironically, uh, I don't want to say funny, but like interesting that the oil and gas that's underground and that they've gotten so rich off of, it's gonna cause more of their destruction, because it's gonna, a lot of these
Oh.
refineries, these gas plants, they're these pipelines, but not just that. What's underground, like where it hits, is gonna cause massive firebombing and explosion. Like it's gonna add fuel. I mean, on top of the devastation, it's really gonna. I mean, really, the pop is so bad. Like it's not that the fires and damn explosions from this isn't gonna like uh it's really kind of trivial, but like it's still gonna add to their destruction. So they're gonna be all their resources and stuff are gonna be wiped out, including
Yeah, that's great.
yeah. I mean, they're fighting. They used it, their riches, and they
Yeah,
disbelieve
but
fighting God. And they disbelieve him.
yeah.
They don't even believe in the Quran. Like not just the messenger. Like I try. It's hard to explain to people, especially Christians. I'm like, no, these people are not following the Quran. Just like you're not. Well, I don't say it like that because I'm trying to be diplomatic. But I'm like, no, these people aren't following the Quran. Like they're. But it's so hard to like. You kind of have to like, spend a couple hours with them to really explain them. Maybe even longer, but it will take days. Most people don't wanna. They just don't care. They have their minds made up about a particular matter. And then I think the best thing would, and no, for those types of situations, I'll send them a video, the Messenger of the Covenant, that kind of like they can sit and watch, and they might want to listen to more than me or something. It might be easier to pay attention and listen to him in a nice video where they could be relaxing or something, watching it and stuff. So, and
Yeah, I mean the thing is, like what I've seen. I mean, I could be wrong, but just my experience, I've seen that people who know you, like if they're close to you and you're trying to give them the message, like they'll pay more attention if you talk to them yourself, you know,
mm-hmm,
because they're paying attention to you,
right.
and while you're talking to them, like it's harder for them to ignore things, you know. But if you
Mm-hmm.
point them to a video or something like that, I mean, unless you're there with them watching the video, more than
Right.
likely
No,
they're
you're
gonna
right. Yeah.
get
Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah. You're right. That's just kind of thinking like that's. I would be
Mm-hmm.
more adept to listen to somebody. Yeah, I knew that
Mm-hmm.
being
Mm-hmm.
sent to some link and then
Mm-hmm.
expecting to believe or understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, 'cause that's kind of how I got, the message from,
Mm-hmm. Your
from my
dad.
dad, and then it
Mm-hmm.
was, it
Mm-hmm.
was, uh, it was, if I would have got it from some random man, it would have been more, yeah,
Skeptical.
difficult. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, because your family, you're not trying to like get. one up or trick your family member. Like look, I found stuff. Like, come watch this with me. Like, check it out. Like, what is this? Other people, you can he's just trying to recruit me into his church. That doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. The second Pope John Paul II.
Yeah. I mean, they've been practicing Satanism, and I knew this since I was like young. They've been practicing Satanism in the Vatican forever. Like Vatican, CIA are really CIA gets orders from the Vatican, but I don't want to go like too off. But I do know, like I've seen videos that were removed. Probably you can't find them now, but they pray Lucifer. Like so on Easter, which is completely pagan, started by I don't know if it was Constantine or Nimrod or something, but it's all satanic, like the fertility goddess, whatever, the bunny and stuff. But they're saying like satanic Luciferian prayers in Latin in these churches and there's videos, and I saw these videos when I was a kid. I was showing them, and then if someone Latin, not a lot of people like they're like who they're talking like. It was crazy, like it's a house of Satan.
But I mean, like the thing is that they don't even have to necessarily do that, to worship Satan. The moment they're setting up idols, they're already worshiping Satan.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. But I think it's more like with them, they do it to spite other idol worshippers, or like to I don't know. They think they're like unique or they're something. But yeah, it's all satanic.
Well, Brother Nizam, I just want to let you know, because since you also have the test flight app, it has a bug with Qibla direction right now. So until the next version comes out, just use the old app if you need to see the prayer direction, because it's pointing the wrong way.
Oh yeah, I noticed that one. Yeah, the other day, every time I was paying the another direction, and it was showing the opposite one.
Yeah, it started showing northeast because I think it just changed it on its own. Like I didn't even ask it to be changed. Like I'm using AI to fix a bunch of things. So as I was moving those things around, the AI agent decided to change it to northeast, because that's how maybe it's trained, to work, and it switched it, and I didn't even know. I had no idea until someone told me. Then I was like, okay, maybe it's a mistake. Like it's doing it for some weird location. Then I looked at my own location, my own direction, and it was also showing northeast. So then I was like, okay, it's clearly changed. So now I fixed it, but I'm just waiting to update the App Store now.
It's slightly south of east, right?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
How long?
How to calculate the timing there in those areas? It's very rare, I think.
Yeah, he said when you're there, then we'll talk about it.
So is it still is?
Oh yeah. So but now how you fixing the application when people are, say, example in Norway in some place, or
those places, those places have no issue.
So right now is not correct, like, right?
Oh, the Qibla right now is not correct. Once I have another update.
So this is the same direction I've been praying in for a while though, like weeks.
What does it say, northeast?
It says
what is it? What is
it? Yeah, it says Qibla is at 38. Qibla's at 38 degrees northeast, but that's what it says. But I don't ever even look at that. I just go for the line. But the line has been in the same direction I've been praying in this building for a while though.
How long?
It's like since I moved homes, I think about a month ago. I don't. This isn't the Qibla app. This is this. So this is the Qibla.
Yeah, the submission app.
So the line.
App should give you the right one.
So is it just saying that maybe the line is right.
That is working correctly.
Yeah, I don't even use the
Yeah.
the compass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just, I just use the line. Yeah, the line is easy because you can see what how the building is straight or the street, and then you can just yeah, that's what I thought. But honestly, I didn't even pay attention. That's why I didn't say anything because I didn't even. It's you
Right.
know.
Right.
But maybe I should pay more attention now.
Yeah.
But mashallah, that's good. So yeah, I mean, it's really technically it's working fine. It's just
Yeah.
mislabeled.
Yeah.
Not an
Yeah. Just the angle that's showing on the bottom in the text. That is.
Well, how come? I guess it was like confusing. But the line is not exactly 94 degrees. So like if you open your Apple Compass app, it's the 94 degrees that I like used before the mission app before I ever had it. Or before I knew about the line, like I was just using 94 degrees, but that shows something a little bit different than the line. Is that fine?
What?
So if you open up, so like if I open up the Compass app on my iPhone, like the Apple app, it shows 94 degrees slightly in the other way than the line. Like if that makes sense.
94 sounds correct for
Okay,
Texas.
so okay. Oh yeah. Texas and Louisiana.
Yeah, because from last week I was praying the same place, same area. So that's why, even though when I see the app, so I said no, something might be wrong because I know that you are doing some updates. So because I know that area, I have to pray always this direction. So how is it still is showing this other direction? It's no. Okay. Anyway, so it's no. hmm Okay. Anyway, so maybe next week, God willing, it will be okay, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but what did you understand? What
the line is perfect.
the line
I think
the line on the map
is
is
points.
perfect.
Yeah,
That one didn't change because that
points
is
to it.
using a separate part of the code that didn't get messed up.
Mm,
In that page
okay.
there. Yeah, but it's just the compass is wrong and the writing at the bottom. Show the angle.
Mm-hmm.
Show the angle
Mm-hmm.
that is showing wrong.
I feel like sometimes Apple like
HLL.
the compass. It's I don't know if it's our phones or something. The
It's
cheap
our phones.
quality magnetics, but like our compass, my compass, Apple Compass, and other compass apps I've downloaded, third party, like will show different. Like I'll be in the same place the next day or a week later, and like I have to shake it or do all these things, and then
Yeah,
and I think I
recalibrate.
like yeah, like I think I'm in 94, and then like I'll do it, and then the next
Yeah,
day I'm like, whoa, did I,
yeah.
So finally, like when
That's
the
why.
line, yeah,
Yeah, that's why you need to upgrade your phone. So.
yeah. Yeah, we have so many. It's so easy for us today. Like in a lot of ways. I mean, there's more distractions, and it's the tests like both got easier and more difficult because there's a lot more ways to be distracted and avenues of sin. Like you can do all these things through the computer, do bad things, or you can do good things. So it's like it's kind of like the stakes are higher, versus like the 1800s or 1500s. They didn't have much to do. They just kind of cooked and did their chores and like I watch these documentaries. But at the end of the day, they didn't have AC. They didn't have all these things to be thankful for, like climate control. They're probably sweating with bugs and. So it's just maybe the app. I was just thinking about this because of the app. Like we have, all these good tools to help us in our submission.
Yeah. I saw someone posted a review. Every time someone posts a review, I get an email. Someone posted a positive review after a long time on Google.
Oh,
So,
mashallah. That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. This is the second time I saw a good review on the Android side. Usually Android side people have been complaining
Uh-huh.
because they were having a lot of crashes in the past. Because also the Android devices were not very powerful in the past, and it was kind of neglected.
Uh-huh.
By me too. So I fixed a lot of those issues. But really, um, I mean it's yeah, I mean it's a lot of stuff, to be done by one person. Like you need a team to maintain, an app that's has all of these things.
Yeah, it's like a full-time job in of itself,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
like a one-man army.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God for AI tools. Like
Yeah.
it makes it very convenient.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
have you tried the AI search? You tried the AI search, right?
I don't think so. No, let me try it.
Mhm. Yeah, search for something like greed or something where you won't find verses from the Quran, like with the literal words,
Oh, I may not have. I may need an update. I thought doesn't it automatically update though?
It does, usually, depending on your settings.
Let me see.